here again, and we have a very, very exciting lineup for this month's Hey Girl. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Margaret Edwartowski. I am coming to you from somewhere near Detroit, and I'm really thrilled you could join us tonight. If you've not seen the show before, I am a writer. I'm an improviser, actor, playwright and author from formerly of Second City and also the Planet Ant Theater, which we are streaming through Planet Ant's YouTube and Facebook pages. And we do this once a month, and we invite amazing women in comedy onto the show so they can talk about their experience and they can make us laugh and we can have a great conversation and celebrate all of the amazing women that do this kind of work. The work of making you laugh and entertaining you and enlightening you and being just generally amazing. Just a couple of things before we get started. First of all, let's say hi to our producer, Jess. Hi, Jess. Hello. I did that middle school girl voice that I hate. That's just like, I'm kind of forcing it a little bit. Hi, Jess. She is an amazing individual. Can't hear you though. You're not doing yourself much service.
This is how good I am at tech. I muted my mic for you to bring me on. That's how technical. Yep.
I was trying not to call it out, but I couldn't help myself.
But have a good show.
Thanks. Thank you, Jess. She is an amazing part of this show and really helps me move things forward and re-envision, the look of stuff and how we're approaching the work. So I'm really thankful to have her on board. I'm also thankful to the Planet Ant Theater for giving us a platform and to the amazing women we have with us tonight. But before we get started, I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. This is the part where I get to spout off about what I've been thinking about during the week. Well, this is this week's. It's about Thanksgiving. So as we know, the COVID rates are through the roof and getting worse. So I just wanted to share this one thought with you as you make your plans for the rest of the year. Right now it is fuck Thanksgiving. Fuck it hard. Don't get together. Why would you do that? Now listen, take a look. I'm all for food-related holidays. I love anything that celebrates food. I love the idea of getting together and eating until we pass out. I'm down, but not this year. I guess I think about it like Thanksgiving, you don't even like the decorations are even lame, I mean, I'm from a big family, so I'm lucky. I don't do the cooking. It's really just sitting on a couch until the food is ready and then eating a lot of it and passing out. But if you think about it, like this year, there's going to be I feel badly for anybody who's been raising turkeys over 6 pounds. Like there's going to be these 20-pound turkeys that are just going to rot and die because nobody can eat that much. There's going to be a run on 5-pound turkeys. But in general, it just feels like this condescending white people holiday, right? Because it was like, we were here and the natives helped us and we survived and we need to be thankful for that. But meanwhile, if you think about it, like it was natives looking at me like, those motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. They're about to die. We better get in there and help them. But yet we're throwing the holiday. So thankful for that. I mean, if you think about it, these big family gatherings right now are sort of the equivalent of like a smallpox blanket party. Like, just don't do it. But the good news is, I mean, the only redeeming thing about Thanksgiving is pie. Any holiday that finishes with pie has my thumbs up. So you can do that with just the people who live in your home. And you can have pumpkin because as a pie lover many years, I have to say that is the superior pie of all. And fight me if you don't agree, because you'd be wrong. Pumpkin is superior to all pies. So I hope you are safe and please be careful. Don't get together if you don't have to. Your family will understand. And then if you don't get together this year, then you can get together next year when everyone is safe and healthy. All right, let's bring on our amazing guests. This first woman, I'm super excited to have. She's kind of one of those people that just has great energy and makes you kind of happy to be around. But she's also extremely talented. So Carla Cackowski is a playwright. She's written and produced 6 plays. She tours around with a orange tuxedo with Craig Cackowski, her husband, and they teach and they perform. And she studied at Second City, UCBLA, iOS. She taught and directed with Second City for a long, long time. And she's got podcasts, Improv Yak, and Craigslist, which I'm fascinated about and I want to hear more about. Please warmly welcome the lovely Carla Cackowski.
Hey,
hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Hey. This is so exciting. I'm so delighted. I'll be honest. When I first saw you starting to advertise this, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope she asks me.
Are you serious?
Yes. Aww. Yes, because I love you. I think you're hilarious.
I love you. I just love mutual admiration societies, and we have a major one right now. Let me tell you this, though, Carla. You are beloved. Like, when I put that out there, I'm not even just kissing your ass. When I put out there that you were going to be on this show, I got so many like, oh, how can I see it? She's so great. I think
that's really nice.
I think you make people happy and inspire people. I definitely think, one of the first chances I got to work with you was when you were teaching all of our staff at the Improv Project. And it's just, it's so cool to see you in that guru role of like,
you were so nice to me. I was just really thankful and so grateful that you were so welcoming. Because, improvisers are pretty nice, but sometimes it's a little cliquey.
Oh, absolutely.
And you were just so great right away. I really appreciated that. Yeah.
Well, let's run this party and bring on another amazing woman. One whom I am really impressed by in the fact, we were talking about this earlier, who walks the walk of supporting women and also happens to be pretty dang talented. So Kate Holmes is on the farm team at Planet Ant Theater. She's also on the streaming show Boxed In with Friends, which I'm going to find out from her how you can watch it, but it's every other Monday night at 8. She's also the producer of the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival, and also, we'll talk about it in a second, was very key in helping me get this show off the ground, and I'm very thankful to her for that. So please warmly welcome Kate Holmes! Yay!
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you're an old pro at this streaming business, huh?
Oh, yeah. I spend so much time in this chair in front of this computer. I don't know who I am anymore a little bit.
Well, I am thrilled to have you here. When I had the idea of this show, one of the first people I went to was Kate, partly because it was something that celebrated women in comedy, and she is the producer of the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival, but also because I knew she would have some insight on how to do this.
Yeah. When I got that text from you, I hid in the corner. Because I get really anxious, and I was like, "Who's she talking to me?" And I kind of got in the corner. And I'm not even kidding. I was in the corner of my dining room, oh. And I always let things settle before I text back. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Margaret just texted me." just go away for a minute. Let me
taking this in. Oh, that waiting a minute to respond thing is something I really need to learn about. I'm not good at it at all.
I don't like to seem too available.
No, that's true. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank
you for the support and helping getting this off the ground. Kate kind of asked around to all of the women in the area for some good starter questions and also set me up with some great people. So I really appreciate it.
I'm loving the show. It's great.
Oh, I'm excited. Last but not least, we have a wonderful woman, and we both remembered meeting each other, which is really important because that happens on this show where it's like, maybe not. It's probably because we're so kick-ass, I think, collectively. But she is an alum of Second City and IO and The Annoyance. And then I have this experience with a lot of people. And someday my kid's really going to think I'm amazingly cool because she's one of those people where I'm watching a show, go, oh, there's Celeste. But she has, you've seen her on Workaholics, Masters of Sex, One Day at a Time, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and of course, as Campbell on Work in Progress. We are thrilled. And she's also a gifted visual artist, which we will talk about a little bit too. So please warmly welcome Celeste Pechous.
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl!
Hey, girl!
What's up? Girl? Oh, girl, I'm so happy to be here, girl.
Girl! Hey.
Girl!
Oh. I love your scarf.
Thank you, girl. You know what? I called the girls earlier today. I wear this on it.
I watched an old interview when I guested on someone else's show and recognized the shirt that I had just worn that weekend in my own show. And it's like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy joke kind of shirt. And I was like, look at how clever I am with this.
Well, you know what's funny is when I watch like any show on Lifetime, any movie on Lifetime television for women, like if they get coffee, and I'm like, I have that coffee cup or like towel set. I'm like, you know, and it brings me the greatest joy and fulfills my day.
Don't you get that thing? Like, I'm trying to think of the right example where you act as though you've met a celebrity, but it's really just like seeing somebody in a different environment. Oh, like, yes. Like a parent at school, you know, of another kid's like, I saw them on Facebook. Or like that. Wow, you know. Yeah, easily impressed. Like they were. I'm trying to. There was one of them that was really good. I'll think of it later.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, Margaret. Thank you.
Oh, honey, thank you for being here. Yeah, Jamie was here last time, and I was like, "All right, give Celeste a text. She's next." It's like a network of, you know, all us women reaching out to each other. So, glad you're here.
Jamie's our girl. I mean, I think collectively, I can say that about all of us, right? Jamie's our girl.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know, happy belated birthday, Jamie Moyer. Wherever you may be.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So I want to hear what y'all are up to. We've had a variety of some people during this unprecedented time have been very prolific, and some have been like, it's not happening for me right now. So where are you on the creativity spectrum? Are you doing projects? What are you doing? So Kate, start us off. Tell us what you're up to.
I do a bi-weekly show with my friends called Boxed In with Friends. And it's really fun. We do a little bit of comedy. We basically just talk, and then we have a comedian and then a musical guest. And it's just so much fun because those six faces, I love them so much. And seeing them, that's like my only socialization right now. So every 2 weeks.
So I had that if people want to check it out, to go to Twitter, it's at friends_DET. Is that the best route?
Yeah, or Facebook. It streams live to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you go to Friends Detroit on Facebook, that's the best way to find us, or the YouTube Friends Detroit.
Nice. What about you, Celeste? What are you up to?
You know, as you mentioned earlier, I'm what's kept me sane during this pandemic time is painting. I'm oil painting animals, dogs, cats, babies, children, you know, really whatever it is, and it fuels me. I just kind of fell into painting like a couple of years ago, actually, when my shepherd of 15 years died. I found Bob Ross was kind of somebody had something on Facebook, and I saw it and I'm like, that's relaxing. I can paint a tree. Ordered a beginner oil set and cannot paint a tree. But I knew Vivian, my dog, and so I painted her, and then that just kind of spiraled into this kind of cool, weird, thing that I've been doing. So that's been keeping me sane and busy. And then we were supposed to shoot season 2 of Work in Progress in August, and that was pushed back to March. Okay. So, I'm really looking forward to getting back to work on that show. And So just keeping myself busy. I find myself cleaning a lot more than I care to.
Yes, I do. We did super deep clean right at the beginning of it. It was like, my house has never been this clean. And then like a month later, it was dirty again. And I was so mad. I fell off.
Because I love it. Like, and then like when it's all done, I light a little candle or incense. I'm like, I am amazing. And then the next morning I'm like, how the hell did my kitchen get like this?
It's like Sisyphus. Yeah.
It's, I'm learning a lot just about me in general, hanging out with my 2 dogs and me during these past 8 months. It's been wonderful.
Have people been having you do like, I don't know, commissions, but like, it feels like you're painting other people's pets and children and stuff, right?
It's been really great. And my artist company is called Vivian in the Forest. You can find it on Facebook. I'm getting a website up as soon as I can find a couple minutes to finish that and actually publish it. But I'm really proud of the work. I do commissions for really anybody that wants a picture of their pet. Some are in memoriam, some are gifts, and they just, if people are interested, you can just reach out to me. But mostly I did about 60 the last 3 months.
Wow.
It's been busy, and I have about 10 more to go. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to, but honestly, like, I've, in my adult life, I've had 3 dogs. I have 2 now. They're assholes. And I have, I'm just my little Ethel and Mertz. But I do connect, I try to get the stories of the animal and what they mean or meant to the family. I also do people, I just did a beautiful in memoriam of a friend's brother and mom. And I just kind of get lost. I always do the eyes first when I paint, because then that allows me to somewhat connect with the piece and try to, go start from there and work my way outward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The window to the soul. That's where you start. That's fascinating. And so cool that it's something you were like, I want to do this and I'm going to do it. I love being creative in ways. Like, I'm just going to teach myself to do it.
Listen, and I'm going to be totally transparent here. I'm 48 years old. You know what I mean? And it's
same twinsies.
Oh, girl. Hey.
Yeah, girl.
But I just fell into this 2 years ago, right? And what's weird is that my grandma Marguerite was an oil painter. Now, she died when I was young, in my 20s. But I didn't really ever know her as a painter. She's an oil painter. My parents, my uncles and aunts would all send me paintings of hers. And if you put one of her portraits up next to one of mine, you really would have a hard time telling who painted which portrait. They're almost identical in our texture and our tone and our voice on the canvas. And it's really kind of cool to be like, wow, like, I would give anything to ask my grandma about her painting skills and techniques, because I'm kind of learning it as I go. But that's also what I really love about it. And, when it's just something that, people ask me like, how long or the education, I'm like, I just went in for it. My sister's an artist, and she kind of like, says, you're the boss, right? Like, you're the artist. And that was a hard time that was somewhat difficult to understand, because as actors and improvisers, we're always working in an ensemble atmosphere, or have a director to tell us where to go or what to do, or, a writer saying, this is what I see. As an artist, it's us. And we have to trust our voice and trust the canvas that it is going to become what it is supposed to be. But there's really nobody else giving you feedback on that. And that was an interesting thing to grasp.
That's really interesting that you say that. And, I definitely had that experience going into some of the fiction writing that I did after Second City. Did you find that too, Carla? Like, when you're writing plays, now you're not writing with a group of sketch people, you're doing it on your own. Yeah. And also, what are you up to?
Yeah, I have been writing, which has been really great. And I couldn't until about 2 months ago. I was just like,
I get that.
Too upset.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Well, look, you can't find the quiet focus place. Go on.
So just like doing more yoga, getting on Lexapro, like all of that, like helped me channel everything.
Right on, sister. Yes.
Wonderful. Best decision I ever made. So I'm like super chill now, and for now.
That's awesome.
So I've been writing a lot. I've been reading a ton. I'm gonna finish 50 books this year, which feels amazing to me because I usually read like 2.
Yeah.
And I've just been like, well, today I shaved my dog, and that felt kind of creative.
Sorry, what?
Like as a prank?
I'm just trying to imagine like the to-do list of like finish a book, take my Lexapro, shave the dog.
In that order. Yeah. Shaved.
What is this, babe? Like, are you like
poor guy?
In the...
Kind of. He's got that thick, coarse hair, so it gets pretty long. But I accidentally cut, or I didn't cut it, but like, okay, yeah, I did. I cut his hair too short. I cut his ear too short. So he's got like one ear up here and one down here. But that feels creative.
It's not the actual ear, though. It's the fur,
no,
right?
Not.
Like,
it's the fur. It's the fur. At first, I thought it was
like World According to Garp. Yeah.
Exactly. Got to read that one still. Yeah. That's what I've been doing. Oh, and Craig and I are doing our podcast again.
So Craig made a list of his 100 favorite films, and then you guys watch them together, and then you give your feedback. Like, how does this work?
Yeah, so we watch it together. He takes notes of stupid shit that I say throughout, making fun of it. And then we do the podcast, and I tell him why I did or did not like it. And he's like a kind of a film snob, so it's a lot of it was rough. It was hard. It took us 3 years to finish his list, but we did it. And now we're doing fun stuff, like we did 31 Days of Horror Movies in October.
Oh, that's great.
And so he would make me watch stuff like Raging Bull, and I would make him watch Hocus Pocus for 31
Yes,
days.
you did. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. So we're doing that again.
I'm trying to imagine that with a film snob where it's like, well, this is what I thought. Well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
We
do. There's been a few times we've gotten really mad at each other.
Really?
And we have to like stop recording and take a walk and cool down.
That's what I was gonna ask you about, because I don't know if Kate or Celeste, if you've worked with anyone you've been in a relationship with in this work before. But I do feel you, Carla. Like, my husband was our musical director at Second City. If you ask him, I don't take notes well at all, which is a total lie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take his because they're stupid. So have either of you other ladies, Celeste or Kate, worked with anybody you've been
not in the acting world? No. I always am kind of an arm's length. Not that I'm opposed to it. Nobody's ass. I have not dated anyone for a long-term relationship. I mean, I've dated like here and there with people in whatever, but not a long-term relationship. Nothing that it would be like, that was 3 years of bliss. Like, we've all been in completely different industries.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I met my husband in theater. It was he was at the local college, and they were doing like a sketch show, like a comedy sketch show. And one of my friends asked me to come and do like a piece with her. And I almost didn't do it because I was really hungover, and I was trying so hard to get out of it. I was 18, and she's like, you have to do it. And I was like, good. And I showed up kind of like still half in it in the bag, and he's like on stage, and I was like, ugh. And I just like was so bold. I gave him my number, but that's the last time we ever did theater together. I mean, it wasn't for what it was.
You are. I love that part of it though. That I was so bold. It was like, here's my number because I can totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We were the people that everyone was like, oh my God, would you just do it already? And John's like an old school guy, so he wouldn't date me while we were working together.
Aww.
A gentleman.
A gentleman. Yes. And then the night I quit, we kind of made out. So
people have been supportive. It is kind of funny. It's like if you date somebody or in a relationship with somebody in a completely different pace of work or thought process and things like that. I have been lucky that they've been very like supportive of our crazy like hours and weird stuff, and will attend things and but
well, and there is that thing. There's so many stories you hear about somebody not in this realm, especially with improv, like, oh, I'm dating an improviser, I have to go to their shows kind of thing. I don't envy them that. Like, that would kind of suck if you weren't in improv and you started dating an improviser, I think.
Yeah.
I think one and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect your partner to go to what, like 3 a week?
Oh,
they would never want to be with you anymore.
Like, I would like, I'm just going to go do this.
Honestly, I'm an improviser and I don't want to see it.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
that would be, although I think I'm at that age now where if I were to date an improviser, they'd be like, I'll be back. Why are you coming? Like, few reasons why you're coming. Like,
what's wrong with you that you want to see my show?
Yeah, that's a problem. If they want to come to every single one, I'd be like, whoa.
I think I'd want to do something like Carla, like perform with my partner. I think that is like Orange Tuxedo. To me, that would be enjoyable and a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we didn't for many years though. That's kind of a new thing still. And yeah, he never came to see me perform, which was good.
And he would have been like a head start on you, right? As far as like how much improv he had done and seen by the time you guys were together, right?
Yeah, he was already well
sick of it.
Already over it. Already done. Already sick of it. Exactly. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
I feel like my husband, even though he doesn't do it anymore, he's so critical, like, because he used to direct and stuff like that. So like, if he did come to like sketch shows and stuff I was in, I was like, did you like it? He's like, well, and then there comes the list, and then it's no fun anyway. So I don't even invite him anymore because I'm like, I don't want to hear it.
I had the best of both worlds because everyone in our circle knew John and they knew him well and he was friends with them, but I didn't have to compete for ego of two actors in a relationship, and I always did that. It was always like my first boyfriend in college, stage manager. It was always like the stage manager, the music director,
you worked your way up
behind the scenes guy. I know. Direct music director. Yeah. So I'm looking at this list so because there's so much I want to ask all of you. What makes you laugh hysterically? Like, what tickles your fancy? Kate, you start.
Oh, what makes me laugh hysterically?
Yeah.
I think kind of dark stuff, I think, really gets me going a little bit because I was always a really dark kid. And the fact that I'm an adult now and like I can be like, yeah, what I mean? Like, it just makes me really laugh. I don't know, like death, I think is a little funny.
So you're like living the dream right now. It's a pretty dark time.
Yeah, it's so great. Like, I was just listening to like Mark Maron's podcasts are super dark right now, and I listen to him a lot. It just tickles me. Yeah. It tickles me. It's very Sean Hanlon-esque, the world's ending. Huh? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh God. I finally had to say to him, like, I have a young child. Stop talking about the environment. Carla, what makes you laugh?
Pratfalls, like 1,000%. Yes. And news anchor outtakes, 1,000%. All the dumbest shit, all the dumbest shit you can think of makes me laugh really, really hard.
Oh, I love that. You would have loved, I don't know if you've ever met Keith Ray, but he was like the king of the brat ball. And if we walk around, you just walk around with him and he'd suddenly be on the ground and everyone's like, are you okay? And he's like,
I didn't know that about him, but now I demand to see it on the other side of COVID, of course.
Oh, of course. Honestly, he is on the very top of my list as the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. Because Nancy and I and a couple other people in him did a show in Michigan. And he was trying to pull he had ripped jeans and he was holding on to the ripped knees and trying to rip them off like a Magic Mike thing. And he pulled his legs out from underneath him and just fell on his back. And it was honestly the hardest I've ever laughed.
That's great.
Celeste, what makes you laugh?
Well, first of all, love me some Keith Ray, and second of all, Nancy makes me laugh.
Oh my God!
I've before in my entire life. Other things that make me laugh, again, the stupider, the better. So the unexpected makes me laugh. Like something that breaks my assumption. I've lost it. Like just something that's so dumb, but then something happens, and I'm like, I can't stop laughing at this. And I just get into a giggle fest, and I am a giggler, and like, and I really do like guffaw at things that really make me laugh, but it's silly things like observational, like just like, is this not hilarious? Again, like that's hilarious.
For you? Yeah.
I mean, it's the absurd. It's just but subtle things, like tiny little, just genuine, honest to God, not meant to be incidents and moments of life that I just lose my shit. Where I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch that again. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You also make me think of those times, and I don't know if you ladies have this experience, but like there are times when I'm doing like real job, like real life things, because I'm an executive director. It sounds way more important than it really is. But you'll be in back when we used to go to work, and I would be dressed in a meeting and talking about budgets and stuff, and then something really childish, or that's what she said type thing will happen. And I'm like, you guys, I'm a comedian. This is completely unfair. I shouldn't be allowed. They were talking about this diversity wheel for diversity and inclusion. They started calling it the D wheel the other day. I was like, no. And I'm on a Zoom, like I got to turn my camera off or something. I can't do this. But
dicks will always be funny.
You know what?
Jokes will always be funny.
Is the whole, and I'm so sorry to bring this up.
Do it.
That whole total landscaping thing just made me lose it.
Girl, yes.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is so funny. And it's not meaning to be, but it's like, oh man, this is going to take me a mile. Like, it's just so funny.
Did you see that video of the girl who was trying to tell about it and just kept cracking up? I think I watched it like 14 times.
If this was written by a writer, I would have been like, they are brilliant.
Yes.
Come up with this. This is
or I don't believe it. That's too contrived.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for them to be like, all right, let's just go through with it. Let's just push through it.
But especially to prop Giuliani up in the front of that Dog and Pony show. Just
chef's kiss to the whole thing.
That's what we were talking about before the show, though. Is like, you're down in the dumps. Things are really grim for so long. You don't realize like things like that can happen and make you so full of joy. A couple things from the folks that are watching. Connie Somerton Shelton, who we love, asked about Celeste's paintings, and she said yes, she can show. So Celeste, if you want, we'll get some images from you and we can put them up on our Hey Girl page. And I don't know if you saw, but we were scrolling your contact info for your site and everything. So
I'd love to do that. Thank you very much, and thank you for asking about it.
Connie has a long, lovely history with Planet Ant. That's why we adore her. The first time I ever was out socially, and my kid was like 2 weeks old, Connie was like, I'll hold him. And I was like, okay, see you in a few hours. She was happy to have a little baby, and I was happy to have a little cocktail. So she's amazing. And then Esther Navarez, who was on our most recent show, actually asked if she could see the shaved dog. If you would like to send me a picture, sure. I'll put that up on the Hey Girl page as well.
Yeah, great. We'll do that.
Well, this is a new thing now. We just started, so if you're watching at home, we just started our Facebook page this week. So do like that. This will be a chance for us to follow up on all of these cool things. So what's the thing you still really want to do? Like, you know, for me, it would be like play Mama in Chicago or something like that. So Celeste, start us off. What's something like either a dream role or a dream project or something you want to do before you die? Like,
wow.
It's huge. It's a big question.
It is a big question, and I love it.
I'm glad you're going first.
I really admire roles that really are a little darker, but very vulnerable and transparent, and also just weirdly funny, like a Kathy Bates thing. Like, you know, if I could do like a role like in Misery or something like that, that would bow to the K. But honestly, I'm very, to be completely honest, I'm very, very proud of the show that I'm on now. And if I can even reach a level that's even one up from this, I've kind of hit the mother load. So I'm very grateful for what I have. If I can bring, the one thing that I'm surrendering myself in joy right now is when I give my paintings to people and they send me pictures of them hanging up in their home.
Wow.
And how much joy it brings to them. That brings me. Someone did ask, like, would you rather be known for your, you know, art or for your acting? And I'm like, ugh. I don't know. I love storytelling. I love the art. I love making an impact and fueling emotion out of people if that's possible. So what do I want to do? I'd probably like to write a kid's book or something, you know, or I always thought I'd end up being a writer. But that's not where my cards have been placed in front of me right now. But there's always something in the future. My dad's a brilliant writer, and so there's stuff down the line. But right now, I'm really happy in Work in Progress, which I think is the show on Showtime, which I think is a very progressive, beautiful, impactful show. And I'm
inclusive,
I'm just so proud to be a part of this story. And if I can continue in that realm to tell stories like that, then I'm in a pretty darn good spot.
That's awesome. And you know what you were saying, like someday writer thing, right? I live for those tweets that are like, such and such a famous writer didn't start writing their first draft of this book until they were 62. And I'm like,
I know. Wow. I read that stuff.
Oh, I love it. I live for it. Carla, what do you think? Like, I really want to do this. I say still as though we're like 70. Sorry.
I do want to write and direct my own film at some point.
Nice.
I've done like short films and a web series and like smaller stuff. It's just so expensive. But I need to like get over that. That's something that I think I say to hold myself back a little bit. But that's something I'd really like to do at some point.
You will.
Thank you.
You will.
I hope so. And I love Work in Progress. I want to be on Work in Progress.
This is, this is my opportunity to help you guys like secret this shit so you can just say it out loud and manifest it.
Give me one line, just one line. Come on.
I'm into it. Hey, let's
just show up in Chicago, right?
This is how the industry works, right? You just go on a podcast, streamcast, and like ask for jobs. Okay, great.
Yep. And then you just go to the set and stalk the person you were on the streaming show with and stare at them until they're like, fine.
And I do want to say, I met Abby, the star of Work in Progress, and Tim Mason, who directed all the 8 episodes in season 1, in my very first improv class.
Wow.
That was 3 years ago. Wow. And so this is how it works.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Carla, I'm gonna try to make that happen.
I'm telling you, we laughed about it, but Larry Joe Campbell, when I was in Second City with him, we had the tiniest dressing room in Detroit, and we used to sit there, and he would be like, I'm going to LA, and I'm taking all y'all with me, and then I'm gonna do this and that, and then we'll all just make movies together. And it's like, that cast was like him and Keegan and like all these people, like eventually they did, and he did have this sort of home that everybody would gather in, and they were all buddies, and so it was kind of amazing.
Love that.
Oh, he's lovely. I got to see him the last time I was out there in January. It was great.
Really?
Bless you.
Bless you.
Kate, what do you want? Put it out in the universe.
Well, for me, I would really like to, my goal has always been primarily being able to just write shit I want to write, because I've worked as a freelance writer for 10 years, and a lot of that is bullshit. Like, let me write this article about essential oils. Great. Like, none of it relates to me. I could care less about 50 different breeds of cats.
Essential oils.
So I have a file on my computer, and I try to write as much as I can. I started writing this play 2 years ago, and one day, I want to finish it, about my dad and, growing up with an immigrant parent, and how dinner table conversations would go. But I feel like every time I get into writing it, I kind of hit that spot that's like, ouch, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And I'll close the laptop and I never can get back to it.
Oh, but I think that means you're hitting the right stuff, right?
That's true. But then I push away from it is my problem. But, I started writing a book 6 months ago too. And eventually I just want to be able to just type on my computer and just be what I want to write about and not have to write bullshit anymore.
Listen, this is what I took this paraphrase quote that Dave Davies told me that Louis Black said, but I live by it. And it's this: writer is the only profession that you can say you're it and you're it. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So you are a writer. We're all writers. Yeah. I did that as far as I wrote my first play on one of those cruise ship contracts for Second City.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You got something done on one of those ships? Wow.
Everybody was like, I'm going to get fit and I'm going to write a novel and I'm going to this. I wrote a play. It was horrible, by the way. But I did it. And it was all under that principle of because we're so used to writing together in sketch that it was well, I can't write a play. Oh, I guess I could. But, I just said, I'm a writer. And then I did the same with, I write romance novels now. And I'm working toward hopefully a publication. But that was another thing. I like this stuff. I think I could write it. I'm going to write it,
Yeah. The thing is, I thought at the beginning of the quarantine, I have this huge book of sketches. And I'm going to write them all. You guys wait and see. The world is my oyster. I'm just going to write all these sketches I've been dreaming about. And I haven't fucking written one yet. So, we're getting there.
But that's, the term that's coming around to from the quarantine is grace. Everybody says it, and I use it. I use it with my husband a lot. Just need to give ourselves some grace.
A little kinder to ourselves.
I started this and I didn't finish it. So this is the most stressed we've been as a society. Yeah. One last general question, and then we've got to give out some awards. So Jean Parker, who I adore, a good friend, is on Facebook, and she wants to know, what's your magical thinking guilty pleasure? So I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure that helps you think or a guilty pleasure that is magical. Let's just go with what's your guilty pleasure.
But lately it's been reality television. I've never really watched it, but something about this quarantine, my brain needs to tune out of everything around me. And that's the only thing that's helped me ignore the world. And it's a lot of Real Housewives. Just binging a whole series in a week. It's real bad. Oh yeah. You can see how much they've aged from Monday to Friday. That's how bad it is.
Oh yes. What about you, Celeste? What's your guilty pleasure?
Well, I love that, Kate. I was just talking to my sister last night. I'm like, should I start Law and Order season 1, episode 1? And just
like you have time. That's one to tuck into.
I don't know. Guilty pleasure is it's kind of staring at. I have the Nintendo Switch, so I'm on Animal Crossing, so I might just like go dig up fossils for like an hour. But then I feel guilty. But it is a guilty pleasure. I guess that's what it means, right? Guilty pleasure. Like, what do you get pleasure out, and then you feel guilty about it. Just sitting around and seeing what's on. And to kind of piggyback on Kate, I'm a lifetime movie chick. Like anything where the nanny falls down the stairs,
ma'am,
or the neighbors hit with the shovel, I am in. So 100%, that is my guilty pleasure, is the Lifetime Television for Women movie.
Oh, that's amazing.
Any decade, I don't care. Early 90s, fine. Tracy Gold, fine. I'm in.
Yes. Carla, what's yours?
Did you know that my thing went out? My internet went out?
No. Is that what the face was?
Yeah. Amazing. I shouldn't have done the face.
It was cute face.
Okay. Guilty pleasure. Well, when I was reading it, magical thinking guilty pleasure made me think of like, I'm into tarot cards right now.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how to do it, but like,
just as applauding off screen.
That's cool.
I'm definitely ignorant about exactly what it's supposed to be or do, but like I read the book and I read my tarot cards, and I don't know, it's something to do that's not going to church, I guess.
That's awesome.
I can't believe I'm going to say this one out loud. And thankfully, probably none of the dudes on the home team watch this show, because those are the only people that are really kind of ever give me shit. But okay. You know those little like story apps that they advertise on your phone that's like choices or episodes or any of that crap, where it's like if you've ever played a game on your phone, they've done an ad for this, and it's one of those like, my millionaire boss just fired me, and then it's like, oh, but he wants me to babysit his children. Do it or don't do it, and then you like choose, and they're usually like romance oriented. Yes, I play those games on my phone.
Fun.
My husband did too, though. Can I just be honest about it? He downloaded one, and we sat in bed and played it together for like an hour. It was very entertaining.
That's a good marriage.
The problem is you have to spend diamonds to get the good choices, and you have to spend actual money on it. Oh, there we go. So we're kind of running out of time, so we super appreciate the questions from the crowd, but we do have to give out our Hey Girl Ally Awards.
Aw, yay.
This is one of my favorite parts of the show because we get to celebrate people who are good to you and helped you to be the best you could be. So each time we ask our guests to nominate someone or someone's who have helped them in their trajectory as an artist or as a person. So let's start with Kate. Why don't you tell us who your Ally Award goes to?
I'm really lucky, I think, in the fact that many of the men that I work with or do shows with and stuff, they're all beautiful and lovely humans. There's a few pieces of shit out there, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say they were all great,
yeah,
but
we're in comedy.
Most of them have been great.
Yes.
But my Ally Award is going to go to Mr. Mike McGettigan.
Oh, yay, yeah. Mike McGalligan.
McGalligan. I'm not a Detroit native. I didn't train in Detroit. So it's really, Detroit's very fucking intimidating, you know, as an outsider coming trying to do comedy. And he was the first coach I had for an improv troupe. He was instrumental in getting me on the farm team. And I've always been able to talk to him and ask him questions. And he was on the board for the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival for 2 years, our only male member, and did a lot. We put him through it too for those 2 years. So if anyone deserves it, Mike deserves it for me.
And Mike was also instrumental in getting this show off the ground. And he introduced, though I already knew her, me to Jess. and said she would be amazing as our producer, and she is. So congratulations, one Squire Mike McGalligan. Congratulations, Mike. Yay! Celeste, who would you like to give your ally award to tonight?
Well, my best friend in the world, my
Hooray.
sister, who is younger than 12 years, and I prayed every day because I was in the middle of 4 boys and I just wanted a sister. And I finally got her, and her name is Emily Hartzler, and she's my heartbeat. I don't know where I'd be without her. We talk 5 to 7 times a day, maybe more, not less. But, she has been instrumental in 100% support. She's a photographer. She's an incredible artist herself. She's a phenomenal mother of 3, and just has her head on straight and gets it. And I could not, she is the girl that I will call and come undone with, and I will have zero judgment given to me, but only support and unconditional love. And she's been with me from the get-go, and she's going to be with me till the very end. And so I'm really excited to give this award to my sister, Emily Hartzler.
Congratulations, Emily. Yay! You are a fabulous ally.
Amazing.
And you know what? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I threw Emily on the spot once when I was doing an online audition. I'm like, I just need someone to read the other lines.
Fine. Oh, that's amazing. All right, Miss Carla, who have you got?
So I actually picked an improv group called Broke Gravy. And these are 3 guys. Woo-woo! 3 guys that I met when I moved to Portland for a year to work. And they were just so wonderful and welcoming and like supportive, and invited me to hang out and be their friend. And they do such great work. So I really want to plug their group. It's called Broke Gravy, and they're at brokegravy.com. And they have a podcast right now called What You Want to Know. And they just I really admire their ability to be funny, but they're also social justice warriors. And like, fantastic. They do such a great job of balancing both of those things and keeping those things at the forefront. So that's Chris and Leon and Eric.
Congratulations, Broke Gravy. You guys are collectively allies. I think it's really the reason why I love this so much is, there are people along the way who really boost us to get where we go, and we don't get a chance to reflect on that. So it's my favorite.
It's a nice thing.
So we have a couple more minutes. So there were some more questions and some comments. Maureen, first time watching this, loving these topics and responses. You're making me laugh tonight. Yay, Maureen. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm excited about that. Most embarrassing experience as an actor. Anybody think of one right off the top?
I have one. You on the spot.
Okay, go ahead, Carla. I
had to audition. I don't act anymore that much. I don't audition for commercials because it's too humiliating, is what I'm trying to say. And this was one of my last ones where I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was for a mermaid, and I had to go, and they wanted me to, when I got there, they wanted me to lift my shirt up and tuck it under my bra and deliver the lines like that. And it was horrifying. And also, I have this one little hair that grows out funky next to my belly button.
Yeah.
That I pluck every month.
Visible on camera? Oh, okay.
Visible enough to me that I was like, I can't say these lines. And it was a nightmare. And it wasn't sexual, but it was. It was. It was inappropriate. It was inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
And I said yes, and I was embarrassed. So that's my story.
So you trained to like do whatever it takes to get the job. So, right? What about you other ladies? Anybody got an embarrassing story they want to share? Go ahead, Kate.
Mine's from a while ago because I feel like I don't really have a lot of shame right now. So it takes a lot to embarrass me. But in 5th grade, I did a production of Bye Bye Birdie. And I didn't have a main role, but it's fine. But there was that going steady. And like there's this huge dance number, and I felt like I was killing it. And they had all the students come and watch it, like from the middle school. And I remember walking down the hall and all the 8th graders were like high-fiving me. I'm like, oh my God, they thought it was really great. And I get home and my brother's like, your skirt was tucked into the back of your underwear the whole time. And every time you twirled, your skirt flew up and we saw it all. And
Oh no.
I've never been the same. I mean, 5th grade. How old are you?
16 candles, right?
Like
my brother
12?
made
Like,
$1 to see your underwear.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I hope they liked it. You know.
Yeah, right. How about you, Celeste? Anything come to mind?
God, more than I can count. I mean, once when I was starting out touring, I've never done a scene that was going in the running order. We actually didn't even have time to rehearse it, but because I was so green and into that time, I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'll do it. I know it. I did not know it. And
actor's nightmare.
Yeah.
It was an actor's nightmare. And I felt so bad for my ensemble. They had to dig me out of that hole. I was very young, had no learned a life lesson.
Yeah,
and want to experience that again.
All confidence.
I don't know.
No follow through.
But that was like, holy shit, I'm melting right now in a fire pit of hell. The other one, there was one funny one where I was shooting a couple episodes of Get Shorty on Epix, and Adam Arkin was directing it, and he's so cool, and he's very, very cool. Like, just makes everyone feel comfortable and things like that. And I was playing a housekeeper, but I didn't think I was in camera, and I was in the kitchen area, and so he's like, do you want to like put strawberries on waffles or something? Because we can see you. And I'm like, oh, you mean act?
Pretend like this is all happening
there and wait for my cue line.
bullshit my line, bullshit my line.
So I've had a few like, oh, Celeste, get your head out of your ass moments. I'm not sure if those are embarrassing moments or get your head out of your ass moments.
I will share this one that I didn't know well enough to be embarrassed about at the time until after the show. But when we were on the ship, we were doing the Norwegian Cruise Line shows, and we had an improvised song, which if you work for Second City, you've done it before, and you interview one of the people in the audience about themselves, and then you do a whole number about them, right? And so this woman, who we eventually made friends with on the cruise later, we asked, what do you do? And she said, I work for Al Jazeera. And my brain at the time heard it as Al Qaeda. And I thought she was fucking with me. Like, I work for Al Qaeda, like, oh, you okay? You work for Al Qaeda. So now I'm pissed at her, right? Because she might as well be yelling out dildo or gynecologist at this point. And so I'm like, oh, okay, you work for Al Qaeda. So then I proceed to do the whole song, like terrorist bomb, and she works for and she actually works for Al Jazeera, a legitimate news organization. And now I look like a horrible racist piece of shit.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
Yeah. Take it back. But that's my embarrassment. So we have a couple minutes left. I know we've mentioned some of these things. I'm going to start out with one shout out that I want to make, but if you have anything you want to direct people to watch or take in or whatever, this is going to be the time. So for me, like I said, I work for a nonprofit. So I work for the YMCA. I work for Y Arts Detroit. And we are in the middle or finishing up our annual campaign for 2020. And what we do is bring arts to young people in families in Detroit and Metro Detroit. We work very closely with the Detroit Creativity Project to do the Improv Project, as well as some media programs and other things. And right now we're doing a lot of online arts for young people who need that connection and that outlet. So if you are able, we're going to share a link to our GoFundMe page. Please support that campaign if you can. We would love to be able to provide more arts for young people in the Detroit area. Anyone else want to share about their show? Kate, let's talk about how you can watch Boxed In with Friends.
Every other Monday. Not this Monday, though. We're not going to be there this Monday. Next Monday.
I mean,
8 p.m. Friends Detroit, Facebook, or YouTube.
Awesome.
Carla, we have a Christmas special coming up, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know what it means yet, but I'm excited.
Carla, how do we hear your various podcasts and whatnot?
At Craigslist PCast on Twitter will take you to the SoundCloud page if you go to the little link. But it's on SoundCloud. It's on iTunes. It's out there, man.
It is, ma'am.
Gurl. It's out there, girl.
Celeste, anything you wanna plug?
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, season 1 of Work in Progress is on.
Yeah.
You can get, I think like 7-day or 30-day free pass. You can binge that. It's also available on Apple TV and all that good stuff. And I'm really, really proud of it. And it's so inclusive. And if you are human, you will find a way to relate to it. Yeah, that's what I got going on here.
Who's your friend?
Oh, this is Ethel.
Hi, Ethel.
And if you are interested in seeing some of my art, I am going to send Margaret some of my paintings, but feel free to check out my site on Facebook at Vivian in the Forest, and also on Instagram at Vivian in the Forest as well. And I'll have a website up eventually.
Yeah.
We got nothing but time, girl. Well, as always, this went by way, way, way too fast. You are fascinating and talented ladies, and I just adored talking to you, and I'm super thankful that you could be here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
Next
much.
month.
So fun.
Oh, it was so good to have you. Next month on the 12th of December is going to be a Hey Girl Like You've Never Seen Before. Guests unlike you've ever seen before. It'll be our holiday. And I'm going to leave it as a surprise because I don't want to ruin it. So thanks again to Carla, Kate, Celeste, and Jess, and to all of you who are watching out there in streaming land. You're all amazing. Thanks and good night. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.